our posts. It's really annoying. So this quarter, my power hours, if you've never been on them, they're generally really fast paced. They're focused on networking, connecting, and inviting, which we're still going to do. We're just going to slow down a little bit, which I'm sure you're all really grateful for. And we're going to just really dive into each topic that we focus on for the week. So today I'm going to teach you guys not only how to post, but really how to maximize it. So when you're brand new, when you're just starting out coaching, sometimes that's like one of the hardest things. You want to help people, your journey's there, everything's in place, but like learning how to post on social media and talk about it in a way that is completely authentic and comfortable to you probably isn't going to happen right away. And I just want you guys to remember that this is a business and you guys are showing up as the CEO and the owner of your business and the owner of your message. And so sometimes it's not really about you. Sometimes it's you showing up for somebody else. And when you coach, that could not be more true. There's this thing that I do with coaching where I know when it's time to focus on me, and I know when it's time to shut that off, and it's not about me at all. And I think if you can really master that flip back and forth of, am I the coach right now or am I Jace right now? It's really helpful to keep you focused because a lot of people, when they're hurting, when their journey's kind of out of whack, when things start to kind of, life happens, they kind of, they revert back into their shell instead of really leaning out and using the community, the tools, everything that you learn from Beachbody to really stay present. The whole purpose of coaching for the individual, so not necessarily, to help people, but for you specifically, one of the biggest benefits is that it keeps you on track, right? It's that longer term plan. It's what solidifies the lifestyle in your life, where you've got your community, you've got your tools, you have your personal development, you've got these vital behaviors. And if you're not using them, right, then you're the one that's going to get off track. And if you're off track, everybody's off track. So there's always this tug and pull constantly of, what do I need so that I can show up for other people better? Does that sound familiar? That's how I started my journey. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be a better mom to my son. Like, he can't know that he can't think this is what women are like and what moms are like. Like, he can't know or think that this is normal, is what I would think to myself. Like, I have to change. I have to make changes. I want to be an example to him, right? And so I kind of use that same experience with my coaching. And even in those harder times, I really try to lean in instead of lean out, because it'll just help you and remind you that it's not just about you. This is people helping people. And when you're a coach, when you're coaching other people, meaning when you show up every day to post, right? Sometimes it's going to be for you and sometimes it's not. And it helps you to really just take those days that are hard and put them aside for a second and say, okay, what do I need to do today? And I'm telling you guys, if you can lose yourself in the service of other people, it will change. It'll transform your life in a way that you've never even experienced yet. That is what brought true change to my life. It wasn't the money, the rank, how many coaches I signed up, how many Success Club points I got. My transformation and how I operated with other people happened in that service of other people every day. It happened in the conversations where people would say to me, this is the problem that I have. And I would say, I got you. Here's what we're going to do. And we would make a plan, right? And we would say, and I would instill that belief in them in that moment. And that's why I always say, like, the most impactful, powerful part of our job, and one of the only times you're really going to have true influence, is in that invite process. That first conversation you have with someone who tells you where they've been, where they are, and where they're going. And you get to say, we're going to say goodbye to that. We're going to embrace where we are, and we're going to go where you want to go. Just being able to do that for somebody in a moment where they're the most vulnerable, where they don't have any belief in themselves, where maybe they've come in from failure after failure after failure after failure, and you're like, we're not going to fail. That's not even that's not what we do here. That's not what Beachbody is about, right? Like, I got you, ride or die. We're going to figure this out until we figure it out. And I think that is life changing. And one thing that I will say very specifically about that, and there's a reason why I'm going so deep into this, is because this is what you need to remember when you're posting. I'm going to teach you guys a three-part post and how to structure it so that it's very intentional. But one thing I'll say specifically about serving other people and really diving into other people's problems to some extent, right? Like, it allows you to heal your own. When you're constantly coaching other people to stay on top of their mindset, to work on their body, to elevate the fuel and the food that they're putting in their bodies, and that's your message on repeat every single day, let me tell you, when you get into those moments, you better believe that automatic coaching starts happening in your brain, because it does. And I will say one thing specifically for me, I was caught in a limited belief, self-criticism, like self-sabotage, negative inner narrative, like to the point of nausea. And when I became a coach, I'm like, I'm so sick of myself. I could die right now. Like, it's time for me to just put myself aside and focus entirely on something else. And by doing that, I really started to notice, like, there's a lot of people who are struggling with these same limiting beliefs, with these same toxic narratives, with this same toxicity that I had going on within myself. And I think helping people identify not what's toxic around them, but what's toxic inside of them was really impactful for me. It started teaching me how to retrain those thoughts and push them aside and not allow them, not tolerate that kind of behavior from myself. And it was, again, it was life changing. So there's so much opportunity in the invite, in the conversations, in the networking, the connecting, and the inviting. Like, that really for me is where the heart of coaching lies. It's not so much in my challenge group. I think some people find that same structure in their challenge groups. Some people find that same structure in their coaching teams. Some people find that structure in Success Club. It doesn't really matter where that lies for you, but wherever that is in this business, where you are like, this is what I love. This is the part that I'll do anything else that I have to do in order to keep doing this. For me, that's what it is. It's that connection. It's that initial invite process and that first conversation that I can have with my coach or my new challenger. That's it. That's what I love. And that's what I keep coming back to over and over and over, because I know in that moment how much impact I can have. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you guys, I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to teach you guys a 3-part invite. They talked a little bit about this at Summit, but I thought it was really good and it's really basic. And I thought it could be really helpful for people who are not really struggling with what to post or whatnot, but just to like really bring some intention to it and really bring some confidence to it. So this is what we're going to focus on today right here. We're just going to focus on these 4 steps, basically. So what you're going to need is your Instagram. You can actually do this on Facebook too if you want, but your social media, you're going to need a picture of yourself, right? So if you don't pull up your phone and have a photo of yourself, are you even a coach? There should be like millions of photos of yourself, right? And then to the point where it's like, this is embarrassing. If anyone ever picked up my phone, they would think this is crazy. But you need a picture of yourself. We're gonna pick a niche topic for the day so that your networking is really on point. That's another thing I think that is getting lost sort of in this process. So I'm gonna teach you how to do that a little better. And then you have to have an open and ready challenge group. You have to have somewhere to invite people to. And what I mean by that, I think sometimes that's complicated. Like when you think, oh my gosh, I have to have a challenge group going. Like in my brain, it's like I have to have structure, I have to have incentives, I have to have recognition, I have to have a post loaded every day, I have to know exactly what I'm doing. Right? That's not what you need. You need to open up a challenge group, put your name on it, and that's it. That's all you need. Open up a group page, and that's it. Right? Like you have to build it first, and then it becomes a challenge group. And as you get better with this, right? Because we're talking about new coaches here. As you get better inviting people into your group, as you really start getting better about talking on the topics that mean something to you, that's when the structure comes in. That's when you like really start to find intention in your challenge groups. That's when it goes from being this really big support group to also a little informational and sometimes educational. But at the end of the day, you guys, it's the support that changes lives. It's not how pretty your posts are. It's not how perfect your information is that you're educating people on. It's your one-on-one ability to educate people in moments where they need to be educated. It's your ability to support every single day. It's your ability to example and show people what the vital behaviors can do for someone on a daily basis. And it's not just, I'm going to make all this money as a coach, I'm going to rank up, I'm going to invite all these people, look how successful I am. It's how you operate. They're going to study and watch you and how you operate when things get hard. That's it. Because guess what? That's where they are, and that's what they need. How do I operate better in this really hard place I've found myself in? And if you can example that, it's incredible. It's life-changing, right? So have an open and ready challenge group so that when you post, you have something to call people to action to. You have somewhere to invite them to work on themselves in a safe environment. Cool? Okay. So the 3-part post. What we're going to do first, really quick, is figure out a niche topic. This is really important for your post because if you don't have a very specific topic with this particular 3-part post, it's really hard to network. It's really hard to network in a really broad perspective and spectrum. So if you're thinking to yourself, like, I don't know what my niche is, I don't know, like that whole thing is super confusing to me. What I want you to think about is instead of looking at your niche as like a person you're trying to find, right? Because obviously, most of the time people are like, who's your ideal customer? What's your niche? And you're like, I don't freaking know. I just want to help people. I don't know. Instead, what I want you to think about is a topic. What's my niche topic for the day? What do I want to highlight today? And a really good way to pick that topic always is to ask yourself, what am I passionate about helping people transform? So I'm just going to give you 2 minutes and I want you to actually write that down. What are you here to help people experience that maybe you experienced? What was that life transformation that you had? And what transformation do you want people to experience that work with you? Okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to write that down. Okay. Once you've kind of identified that, right? This is something I think that's really powerful to know exactly what you want to help people transform. Most of the time, we take that from our own transformation experience, right? Because that's what changed our life. And that's what we're so excited to duplicate. Like, that's what we want people to experience. I'm telling you guys, if you host your challenge groups around creating that experience for people. Like, you create a challenge group where people can go and they will experience that same kind of transformation that you had, or that is geared around the kind of transformation you want them to have. I'm telling you, everything else will fall into place. Like, you will be so motivated to show up every day because it's something that you deeply believe in. I think sometimes when we think about our challenge groups, we think it has to be fitness, exercise, like nutrition, mindset, right? Beach body, log this, accountability, this. Think about how impactful it would be if you, as the coach, were able to help them focus exactly on what they needed to work on up here every day. And they used the nutrition and the exercise as the vehicle to get them there. Think about it. If your transformation that you want people to experience is to build their confidence, to give them self-esteem, to help them find their self-worth, to help them believe in themselves, to help them become a finisher, right? Like, to not just start and stop, but to like finish. What is that experience that you want people to have when they work with you? Identify that. Okay, that's going to help you niche down into topics that specifically talk to that person who needs that experience. Does that make sense? It just simplifies it a little bit. So what I want you to do today is think about that. Think about that transformation you want people to have. And I want you to pick a topic, um, maybe even a problem. Identify a problem maybe that you had when you started or as you've gone throughout this journey that Beachbody solved for you in this arena with this specific transformation. So if it was you didn't have any belief in yourself, what was it that flipped that? When did that light switch go off where you're like, oh, like for me, for an example, the first time I ever did a program from start to finish, I went from becoming a chronic quitter in my life to understanding what happens when I don't quit. Oh, this is what happens. You actually get results, right? And you better believe that experience transformed everything from that point on. Because every time I wanted to quit, what did I think about? What happens when you don't? So many people think about what happens if I quit. If I quit, I'm going to have more time. I'm going to feel less pressure. I'm going to feel less stress. But you're not going to get anything you actually wanted out of this, right? You're never going to get the actual result. So that was life changing for me. You know, that one experience of starting something hard. P90X is hard. Has anyone done that program before? That's like the first one. It's freaking so hard, you guys. And I finished it. And okay, so figure out what your transformation is you want people to have. And then I want you to pick a topic for today. What can I talk about specifically regarding this transformation? And I want you to identify a problem that maybe you had or that you're seeing people having in this area. I want you to identify a solution or the solution that you used that flipped that light bulb for you. And then at the end, it comes the invitation, the call to action, right? So that's the 3-part post. You identify a problem in the first paragraph, you write out the solution in the second paragraph, and then in the third, there's an invitation or a call to action. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give us 10 minutes, and I want you to post on your social media. I want you to post a picture of yourself smiling or a transformation photo or whatever makes sense. And I want you to keep it short and simple, 3 little paragraphs. First paragraph is all about the problem. Second paragraph, the solution that you found. Third paragraph, call people to action. Come join my group. Figure out the solution. Stop focusing on the problem. It's right here. I can help you. Okay? So I'm going to give us a couple minutes to go in and make that post. Okay, while you guys are finishing up, I'm just gonna give a couple ideas. So these kind of posts, the structure of the way that you word your post is really helpful. You can almost apply it to anything. If you're going to post something, how can you identify a problem? How can you identify a solution? How can you then call people to action? This is something that it's really basic, but it's really simple to remember. And it will also keep your posts really valuable because it'll help people see themselves in what you're sharing. You know what I mean? You can make it funny, you can make it serious, you can make it sad. There's so many ways to share problems. And I think that that's what's so awesome about this particular structure is based on your personality, like how you operate, what your personality is like. If you're more sarcastic and dry, like I am, if you're more like very to the point, and too serious sometimes like I am, then you can put that into your post. But if you're like really playful and you don't like going too deep, you like to keep things really light, you can also do that. You can still identify problems in light ways and then offer a solution in a really impactful way. I think that that's really what's so cool about this structure. So I'm going to give us 2 more minutes and then we're going to do what we do after the post. So the post is extremely important because everything you do after this, everything you do is going to be directed back to this post you just made. So take your time with it. Like, don't rush your material just to get material out, you know? Like, really pick a niche. And if it takes you all day to really think through the message that you want to give, then take all day, you know? There's multiple post times in everyone's social, like on everyone's social media where it's impactful to post. Like when you look at your insights and you say, okay, my audience is here at 8 a.m. and at 6 p.m., then that's when I would post. And I would save your best post of the day, the one with the call to action when the most people are active on your social media, always. And that might be 8 p.m. for you. That might not be 8 a.m. They may not be 6 a.m. So you may be having all of your best material at the beginning of the day. And if you just switch that to the end of the day, you'd probably see more impact from it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple more minutes and then we're going to go on to what we do with this post to maximize it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do next. Hashtags. This is how you start getting your message out. So most people, they post and then they leave it and that's it. And they think that that's gonna bring people to them. It's not. See all these other things on the list? This is how you start bringing people to you. My whole goal as a mentor, as a sponsor, as a coach, is to teach people how to bring people to them. You're gonna have to go out and get it at first. But eventually, if you can start learning some of these things, people will just start coming to you and it won't feel like you're having to go DM every single person all the time and like, you know, pull teeth to get people in the door reading your stuff and like connecting with you. This is really how you smartly market yourself. And that's part of our job. We're trying to find more people, reach more people, and help more people. So the very first thing that I do whenever I post anything on my feed, I share it to my story. Do you guys all know how to do that? Really easy. There's a little tiny, when go to your homepage, there's a little tiny airplane or arrow, whatever you think it is. You just click on it and it will say share to my story. You just share your story and share. Super simple. It's going to get immediately more eyes on it because people who watch your stories don't necessarily go to your feed and vice versa. Okay, so share it to your story and give everybody a minute to do that. And then we're going to hashtag the bottom. So in the comment section. And what I want you to focus on with the hashtags, this is really important, is the problem, not the solution. So if your problem was procrastination, are you putting off your workouts? Are you putting this off? Tomorrow's the first day of the month. Get started, get going. What you're going to hashtag is procrastinators, right? Like unorganized, anxious mama, like whatever. You're going to really target the problem, the people who, not the solution. I see a lot of people hashtagging like the solution and like the power words, like the confident mom, like you're posting that using hashtags that really play to the solution, not the problem. But you're trying to find people with the problem so that you can bring them the solution, right? So what I want you to do is figure out 10 to 15 hashtags, and I want you to post them in the first comment underneath your post that directly relate to the problem that you identified in your post. So if it's about nutrition, identify exactly what nutrition problem it is. If it's like, for example, I did mine on nutrition because I'm going to start To Be Mindset in this next month, and I want to focus on that in my free community. And To Be Mindset really is for people who have really unhealthy mindsets around food. They're binge eaters, they're under eaters, they're calorie counters, they're the yo-yo dieters, they're the people who can never grasp onto one concept and stick with it. People with the portion fix are more people who are perfectionists. They are the ones that have to have control over everything. They're really rigid in their approach, right? That's what's awesome about portion fix is it teaches them how to do that in a healthy way. And I will say, like, people who have no structure whatsoever with food, it's really identifying which program would be best for them based on their current mindsets and habits with food, right? So anyway, the hashtags that I used were geared around those kind of people, the binge eaters, the overeaters, the undereaters, the chronic dieters, the people who can't ever quite figure it out, but are the people who try everything. They keep going from one thing to another, trying to figure it out, but it's not working. And it's not working because their mindset around food is not correct. Does that make sense? Most people with the portion fix, their mindset is there. They just don't have the application. Does that make sense? When you think about our nutrition programs that way, it simplifies it quite a bit. It helps take a lot of the, I don't know, out of it, and you're able to really identify it. So with your hashtags on your post, I'm going to give you a couple minutes, just identify some of those issues and use those as the hashtags. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that, and then we're going to move on. Okay, so once you've figured out the hashtags, we're gonna come back to those a little bit. But right now, what I want you to do, again, we're trying to maximize every single effort that we make, because that way you can work less and get more out of it. So what I want you to do is go into your stories, either on Facebook or Instagram, and I want you to go live in them. And what I want you to do is talk about that post that you just made, just in a really, hey, I just identified, this issue that I was having, or this issue that I'm seeing, and I just wanted to highlight and make a post about it. So go post about it. I shared it in here. You can go back and just pull it up. Let me know what your thoughts are. And then I want you to create some kind of active poll where, like, I want you to end it with a question and then put a poll or a box in there where they can write back to you. Creating an active poll every single day at the beginning of your day is going to give you a list of people to follow up with and talk to all day long. Anybody who answers your question in your poll, you can reach out to and have a conversation with. So if you get really good at that, and you start doing it often and you ask good questions, people will respond. So I want you to go in and do a live really quick on your Instagram stories, end it with a question, and then put a little poll box there. So the poll says yes or no. I always change those to whatever answers I specifically am wanting from the person. That way I can start a conversation with that person based on whatever that was. So this is a really important and simple way to not only post, but then start engagement about that topic for your day. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to go in and create that live story, create that active poll, and then we'll move from there. Okay, also you guys remember when you do these, do the captions. So when people are not be able to hear it, they can read what you're saying. Do you guys know how to do that in your Instagram stories? It's super simple. It's just an option that's already automatically there. You just click on the little square smiley face when you're in your stories, and you look, and it's the second row, and it just says captions, CC. You click on that button and it will automatically caption your post for you. Did you find it, Paige? I know you were looking for it. Okay. Okay, so once you've done your story, it doesn't have to be super long. It can just be like a 1 slide story, 15 seconds. Hey, I just made a post. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. I shared it to my story, click on it. Super simple, but it's really impactful. Okay. Once you have your story going, you shared your post to your story, you have that active poll, you've basically woken up your audience for the day. Hey, I'm here, let's talk, let's have a conversation, right? Then you can start into your networking, which really brings the people into your content. So we're going to skip this little follow backs and new welcomes because I want to go into the networking part. The follow up backs and new welcomes are just something I do every day, but this is really the networking. These are my favorite networking activities. So what I want you to do, and this is why it was important to pick a niche topic for the day, I want you to go and find an expert or two on Instagram who is an expert in this field. So if you were talking about anxiety, if you're talking about nutrition, whatever it is, I want you to go into your little search thing and I want you to type one of your hashtags, maybe anxiety, maybe whatever it was that you identified as the problems. Use one of your hashtags and go search it and just see what accounts come up under that topic. Like generally the top accounts are at the top. So if there's somebody who speaks a lot about the specific thing, they're going to pop up. You go to their page, this first person, so I just typed in anxiety, for example, this lady I just found is called the Anxiety Healer. She has 491,000 followers. This is perfect. It's exactly what I'm looking for in order to do my networking. Okay. Does this make sense? It's really simple, but it's really powerful. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to network on these bigger pages that are already dedicated to this topic. Because if you network with the people that are already networking in this arena, they're already interested in this topic, they're following someone for help in this area, and then you go in and you're like, hi, I'm here, and you leave your business card on their stuff, they're going to go to your account and see that you talk about the same topic and they're going to follow you. Now do you see why it's important to pick a niche and a topic and stick with it? If it's changing all the time, your audience is changing all the time. That's not what you want. You want a strong audience that's building on itself, not flip-flopping on itself, not people coming and going, people staying and referring. That's what you want. So if you don't know what your niche customer is, pick a topic and stick with it every single day in August and just see how this changes for you. That's my challenge for you. Okay. So once you've found an account, here's what you're going to do. I want you to go through and I want you to like, their first 9 photos. And then what I want you to do is find one of the posts that they made that really resonates with you. And I want you to go into the comments section. And what I want you to do is I want you to like other people's comments. You just click on the heart. I like to call this activity putting my heart into it. This has been the most effective networking exercise that I've done in the last 3 months. I tested this with a dummy account and I gained 800 followers in 3 weeks from picking a specific topic and hearting people's comments who were actively engaged on an account about the same topic. Think about it. Just think about it for a second. It's so simple, but what happens is I don't have a special number. I just do it for the time allotted that I give. I'll usually go into a thread, like this thread has 150 comments. I mean, that's a lot. And if you do too much, Instagram will be like, you're doing too much. So maybe do like 25 to start with. But literally, I just go down and I heart the comments. I make sure that I'm not hearting the host of the page a million times. I'm making sure that I'm liking people's comments that are engaging in her content. Because what this does, you guys, is it sends a notification to that person. All of a sudden, you pop up in their notifications as someone who liked what they said. Can you tell me that that's not an instant connection? That's an instant connection piece. They're going to go to your page and be like, who is this person? Because for most people, getting a like, getting acknowledgement, getting recognition on social media is a big deal, especially with some of these topics, and if you're like, I like what you're saying about this, you have an instant connection. they'll go to your page and see who you are, and they'll notice, oh my gosh, she just posted about anxiety. Is that what her account's about? And they'll dive into your account deeper. And if they like the cut of your jib, right? They like what you're doing, they'll stick around. So this networking is really key with to do right after you post. Even just this liking a few people's accounts. I generally, when I find an account that is on topic in my niche topic or customer, I'll follow it and I'll go back and I'll network with their following a lot because they're people that are interested in the same things I am, right? It's a win-win. I get something out of it just as much as they do. It's not just, oh, I'm going to get all these followers from it. It's also like, these are actual people who care about stuff that I care about. And I want that. Okay, does anybody have any questions about how to do this exercise? It's really, really simple. But if you get consistent with it, it's really impactful. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes to do that, and then we're gonna go to the last two. I do look at it, I do look at who it is at all, but I mostly, honestly, just read the comments. I make sure that I'm not hearting comments that I don't support. I do say that. Like if I don't support it, then I'm not gonna heart it. So I try to really kind of glance through the actual comments and like the comments that are aligned with my ideologies and my beliefs. That's super important. The ones that just like leave emojis are people that I really like a lot because they're people who are, this is the other thing that you guys have to remember too with this specific exercise is you're networking with people who are active on social media. It's super easy to network with people who are inactive on social media, and that is a waste of time. That does nothing. So that's why we're diving into this specific space, because you're finding people who are active on social media. They're actively following accounts that are trying to help them better. So they're into self-improvement, right? They are not afraid to speak up and give their opinion or feedback. Oftentimes I find out people who are actively coaching people out loud in those comments and don't even know it, right? Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. I'm so like, because other people read other people's comment threads, right? This is one of the best places to connect. And this is the first step. Just like their stuff, like their comments, acknowledge them, validate them. Yes, I believe in this. I'm with you. I get it. Start the conversation. And then you can also dive deeper. In my connection power hours, we dive deeper and we go into commenting in the comment sections and starting conversations and coaching out loud and really, learning how to network that way and connect with people. It's awesome. It's so organic and it's so simple and it's so impactful when you're doing it in a space that also means something to you. Does that make sense? Okay, so you guys should have been able to do that while I was talking, just hearting people's comments. Hopefully you found an account or two that you can network with. This is something you can pick a new account every day. That's what's so cool about networking. Let's see. And then the saves, what I also do, this is really awesome. So this is the next thing that I want you to do. If you can figure out, if you can look at this, a page, and there's some content that you really like, a post they really love. And generally these people and these accounts that you do this with are going to be far beyond where you are. Like they're going to be like, this is the goal. Like I want to get to this point. I want to have 491,000 followers that are following me for this specific thing, right? Like that's what you want to be thinking. But if you go through their content and you find something that you love, this is the next step is I want you to pull up their post and I want you to share that to your story. And as much as you can find on this topic today, I want you to share it in your stories and you share it exactly the same way. So this one, she put tips for caregivers of an anxious loved one. There's like a ton of different topics that this lady, performance anxiety, right? Literally, you just click that little airplane, add it to your story. This is networking with other professionals in the area that you want to focus in. This is you now networking with someone who could be a mentor that knows a lot more than you do in this area, that is now educating you. Like, this is you reaching out and supporting them. And what happens a lot of the time when you share people's content to your stories, your goal, like the ideal thing that could happen is they share it back. People love sharing their own content that was shared by someone else, right? So like if a big account like this can share you, guess what? All of a sudden, those 491,000 people that are following her account are now going to see that she reposted something that I posted of hers, which means I'm interested in that content. They're going to go to my page and I'm probably going to get a bump in people following me. It's all smart. Everything is connected. All the work that you're doing should have some kind of ROI, return on investment. Because how many of you guys have so much spare time right now that you don't care about taking all day long to make one post? Raise your hand. Ain't nobody got time for that. We got like a little tiny bit of time. So let's just do it and use it, right? Okay, does anybody have any questions about this? This saves part is also something that I do. Every time I see content I want to eventually share to my stories, I save it, I bookmark it, and I put it in a collection, share. That's it. So anytime I need something to share in my stories, I literally just go and share stuff from there. What's nice about this is stories have changed so much because of Reels that you actually, like, I'm finding that sharing valuable content in there is working really, really well, as opposed to like when I would just go in there and talk and like, here's my day, here's my shake, here's what I'm doing. I try to make that stuff into a reel now, and I put valuable content in my stories that people can easily just scroll through. Topics, quotes, recipes, easy stuff. And it's helping. Okay? So that's what the saves is. So the very last thing is that same kind of thing. Share valuable topic or valuable content on topic in your stories. And then the very last thing that you can do is what we talked about a little bit already, which is give quality feedback in the comment section. So now what I want you to do is go back maybe to that same page, and I want you to spend the last 5 minutes coaching out loud in the comments. If you find a comment that you resonate with, respond. Learn to like get in the habit of response. Always be willing to speak up. This is going to help you gain confidence everywhere with what you do with coaching. This is a practicing playing field, the comment sections, on getting yourself out there, speaking up in an environment that doesn't really affect your business. It doesn't really matter, but it helps you practice that skill. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes to go in and just connect in some of the comments. Oh my gosh, I just posted about this morning. Think about that. Oh my gosh, I just posted about this morning. I love your ideology. I love your opinion on this. Love this feedback. Super simple, but it goes a long way. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll close up. Okay. So again, this is really my power hours. What I really want to do is equip you. I want you to be able to like leave my power hours and be like, I can work by myself. You know, like I don't want you to ever have to feel reliant on anybody else to build your business. Like the whole point is to equip you to the point where you can just go and you can just work and get through it. This power hour takes me about 30 minutes every day when I just sit down and do it, or less. It feels long because I sat and explained every little thing, but when you sit down really with it and you just do it, it's so fast. And what I love about it is the activities are really natural and they build a habit really quickly. They're easy to remember. This is just simple networking that is really impactful. So, I will say that as a brand new coach, if you're just starting out, or if you've been doing this for as long as I have, it's impactful either way. It doesn't matter. Like you could be doing this for ever, or you could be doing this for an hour. And I think this is still going to help you grow your business. One thing I just really want to say that I think is so important moving into this next month is this is not a social club. It's really easy for coaches to come here and be like, it's the community. I love the community. And what ends up happening is you turn it into a social club and no work gets done. Yes, it is a community. Yes, it is all of the things that we need for support and friendship and family and all those things, but not at the expense of the work that we're trying to do. And this is so important. If you can really understand this mindset of, am I just here to be social or am I here to really change lives forever? Which kind of coach am I? And I will tell you, it's so much more fun to be social when that work's done. It's so much easier when the work's been done. Because then you're like really celebrating. Then you're like, freak, that was a long month. Let's relax. Like, let's just hang out. Let's just like sweat together for a minute. And this is something I think that I've really fallen into a trap of because it's easy, right? Like, it's easy to just fall in love and do the easy stuff. But I'm telling you guys, it's the coaches that get behind in the Vitals, in the Success Club, activity every month that aren't sponsoring new people every month, right? New people, not just coaching the same people every month. That's a social club. If you have the same core challenge group you've had forever, you created a social club. That's not a work environment. That's a social environment. Does that make sense? So I think really just understanding that and saying, listen, I'm here because I have a job to do and a mission to accomplish helps you motivate and elevate yourself. It helps you rise above some of this stuff that's distracting you and getting you off focus. Like, and I will tell you that is so valuable for challengers and coaches for you to be focused. Listen, I love you. We're friends. You're my family, but I'm here to work. You're either going to work with me or you can stay in my challenge group. If you're a coach, you have a job to do, right? Again, it's just learning that flip between, am I Jace right now or am I Coach Jace right now? And when my coach hat's on, it's all business. That's it. I sometimes let my guard down and it's just Jace, but like I want to help people. And if you're a coach how many of you guys have ever said, I became a coach because I want to help people? Raise your hand. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. If you're here to help people, that's trackable. That's tangible. That's something that can be seen, not just felt or said, right? That is seen by the activity that you're creating in your business or not. So every single thing that you do as a coach helps people, whether it's Success Club, building your rank, building your income, whatever, sponsoring people, sponsoring coaches, networking, posting on social media, all of it is helping people. So don't ever get caught in this trap of Success Club feels bad or rank feels bad or whatever, because then it feels like it's just me. That's because you're approaching it from a you standpoint instead of a coach standpoint. You have to look at your business as the CEO and say, this vehicle and this machine is built to help people. Every single activity you can trace back and reverse engineer to a person being impacted by our tools, our system, our community, our support, every single one of them. So embrace this opportunity. It's awesome. And the deeper you dive into each category and you find that one area of passion, like I was talking about, for me, it's that invite, it's that first conversation. I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll sponsor as many coaches and onboard as many people as I have to if I just can keep doing that every day, if I get to keep doing that, right? And I think just really approaching your business with that coach mindset, taking yourself out of it, right? That's separate than your business. And it'll help you. It'll help you move forward as a really strong influencer, as a really strong impactor in people's lives. They need people who are further along in this than they are. They don't need a social club. They need a working, productive group with a coach who's focused, who's passionate, who is there to help them, not themselves. Right? Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Ray said, can you go over transitioning from making the post to going live in stories? I was interrupted. Yeah, it's really, really easy. You just take your post. You guys can hop off if you want, but if you want to stay on, then you can. You just take your post and you click the little arrow and it will share it to your stories live. So just go to your homepage, look at your post, click the little arrow or airplane. It'll say add reel or add post to your story. And then you just click it. And then you go live in your stories and you just say, hey, I just posted about this topic. Let me know what your thoughts are. Super simple. And then like create pull the questionnaire thing up and erase the question. And it will just give them a text box to respond to you. Or they'll respond to you on your actual feed, which is even better, because that boosts the algorithm. So it's really just calling people to give you feedback on your post. Super simple. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna post this on my YouTube. Every network one that I do is always posted publicly, so you guys can go back and look at them. I think my YouTube's just Coach Jace. So if you want this recording, then you don't have to wait on your upline to get it for you. You can just go get it. And then I'm just gonna share the PDF one more time. And then I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a happy Saturday.